Hi, this is Ev, the founder of Holistic Healing Astrology. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about Pluto. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about Pluto, so just give you a heads up. It's going to be a long video. I usually do, 5 to 10 minute videos, but because if I find that it's necessary to give more depth information, I will do a longer video, but I let you know why. And I just don't like doing these 1 hour, 1.5 hour videos. And it happens in astrology because it's so complicated. And, with these deep subjects, it's very difficult to, keep it short. And I try to, share some life experiences too. We're all in this journey of life and we get handed challenges, and things like that. It's all over our chart that we will have challenges. So, and that's why I love what I do with holistic healing astrology, because it's holistic. It deals with the whole body, and I deal with all my tools in my kit. How is very specific to each client. So if you want to know more about my services and stuff like that, you can hop on my website and just take a look around. Or you could just call me and I could give you a free consultation to see what would best suit you. Okay. So Pluto is a newly discovered planet. Maybe it's not a planet. You know how the scientists are. So whatever it is out there, it's powerful because they associated with this discovery, Pluto, with the atomic bomb. Enough said. So that's the type of energy that Pluto has. It transforms. When you say transforms, you drop a bomb on something, it's the end of something and the beginning of something else. So it's not quick like Uranus is a quick, sudden, unexpected lightning bolt. It's one and done and then you deal with it. But Pluto is like continuous, it's going to be a process. 9/11, Pluto. And there were specific angles where people predicted something horrible was going to happen, disastrous. So how disastrous Pluto is depends on your individual chart. Right now, Pluto went direct. What does that mean? Retrograde, direct, that is going to be discussed in another video. However, all planets except for the sun, moon, and all that, they go retrograde. And it's just like an illusionary retrograde. It's not physical, but it appears like it's going backwards on the astrological wheel. So what will happen is the planet will stay in a sign a longer time, because it's like you're going down the road, I forgot something, you go back, and then you go back again. So there's more time on the same path, all right? And there's a reason for it. It's for us to reflect, renew, and all that. That's what retrogrades are. So what happens when the planet goes direct? Well, before it goes direct, it stands still like a top, and it goes around and around and around. That's when things really happen. They show up, because harnessing all that energy in one spot is when you're going to feel the action. There's going to be some kind of event, okay? And then it goes forward, and when it goes direct, now the energy is more not in the reflective state, but in the outer world, not inner, okay? So Pluto is powerful, very powerful. It represents death, a metamorphosis, like the caterpillar turns into a butterfly. So of course, I could give you a great personal example, and it happened twice. When I went overseas, there was a water leak, a little one. There was some mold involved, and we had to take care of that. It was a long, drawn-out process, but we did it. I come back to the beach, Virginia Beach, There's a big pipe that busted, okay? And we're still in the process of putting it back together. August 6th to now, which is the 22nd of October. And it's going to be at least another 3 weeks, I was told. That's Pluto. You got to deal with it. Is it uncomfortable? Is it disruptive? Yeah. Is it like you want to pull your hair out? Yeah. That's Pluto. And if you were born with that kind of aspect, because there's like tough challenges or there's flow of energy. If it's a flow, then you're a very powerful, dynamic person. You know, you're into transformation. Like you could flip houses and things like that. Positive. But if you were born with these challenges, like what just happened recently, then you're going to be a pro at understanding the Pluto energy and how to move forward. So it's also a rebirth, you know. I've seen a lot of people that had strong Pluto when it went over their ascendant, they became a new person, you know. So it was like, it was in the area of thinking about it, meditating about it, and then boom, they said, well, that I'm done with that old, you know, person, and I'm going to be a better me. It also could mean time, you know, different status in life, widowed, divorced, you know, a new baby, just new beginnings. But there's a death associated with it. The end of one thing, the beginning of something new. It's very intense. Pluto energy, too, is a detective. They're great at digging, going under the surface, going to the root of the matter. It's a forcefulness. It's control and dominance. Strong Pluto people are controlling. I could be controlling, but you know what? When it comes to a very serious situation, someone needs to take control and make it happen, you know? Back to that old triage. If there's an emergency, you got to go in there, evaluate, get in there and control it. So it's not always bad. But the word is control. Emotional intensity, it's also greed, it's sexuality, passion, ruthlessness. It's also rebuilding, we talked about that. It's the underground, everything underground. Creepy, crawly things, things you don't want to talk about. Sewers, feces, all that. Dead people, morgue. I have strong Pluto influence in my chart, and I did work in the morgue, but I enjoyed it. It was a very fascinating job, fascinating, and it helped me develop a lot of my theories as I was on my quest for the metaphysical journey, understanding death. Yep. So it's part of life. It's also wealth, and great wealth. Okay, you have activities in there, you're dealing with lots of money. I've always had a lot of cash money in my hands, whether I was counting it or dealing with it, contracts, this and that. So that's part of the thing, the shared, like banking and insurance and stuff like that. Financial investments. It's also secretiveness. They're very discreet. They don't want people, when strong Pluto, they don't want people knowing their business, okay? It's obsessions, too. They could obsess and manipulative, very manipulative, because that's part of control. So if you have some very strong Pluto friends, you have to understand that's who they are. They can't help it. It's a natural for them to be that way, okay? They're also great surgeons because they go in, they're looking, they're detectives. When I worked in the laboratory, I had a look through the microscope and look for abnormalities in cells. Look for cancer, anything that was not normal. So I was a detective. When I do my astrology charts, I'm a detective because I have to figure out what's most important, what isn't. It's also obstacles, but I use that loosely because I like to use the angles of the planets that are obstacles. But and Saturn could be obstacles as well. It's also privacy. They do like their privacy. It could be helplessness if you have some bad angles. It's also compulsion. It could be black magic. It's definitely the occult. Okay. So there's levels of Pluto energy too. You have like people that have not evolved and they're still immature. That's going to be more of a lower level Pluto. And, you know, they'll evolve and be better with all that power that they have and that energy. It's definitely change, major change. So the key words would be control, power, intensity, major change, death. I don't like to say death because people get scared. I wish that people would start becoming real about the subject of death, because this is all very Pluto. Death is the inevitable. You tell me one person that's not going to die as far as die, but if you look at the energy of the planet, you don't die, you transform. You're going from the physical world, and the spirit, the soul, goes to the invisible spiritual world. But you're still there. And it makes you wonder, when you're in the womb, are you there? Well, you're physically there. What are your memories of that? 9 months. And so what is the soul bringing in? Anything? Just a lot of deep questions. And that's what Scorpio's about, Pluto, related to Scorpio, but that's what Pluto's about. All these deep, deep unknowns, unexplainables, and things like that. Okay? So it's also scandals. Yep, it could be scandals, humiliation. And Pluto will stay in a sign for at least 12 years. And if there's a retrograde like we've had that Pluto in Capricorn for a long time. I'm researching now what's going to happen when Pluto leaves the sign of Capricorn, where it's in now, and goes into the sign of Aquarius. Woohoo! That's going to be interesting. And I think it's going to be in 2023, 2024. But we're moving into it now because it's such a slow transition, because it's going to be at least a 12-year period, okay? So completely different energy of Capricorn. But Capricorn has to do with government. So as you can see right now, look what's going on with our government and governments around the world. It's so interesting this time. People all trying to come into this country. You know, people might think it's not a great country, but there are a lot of people in other countries that are, you know, they're crossing several other countries to come here because they want to come here and live here, because where they're living is not nice, not as nice as here. But we're so used to being here and enjoying the comforts of this country. I recommend you go travel and see, you know, before you really knock the country and complain. Yeah, we have a lot of challenges, but see what other cultures are doing. And you know what? If you feel that you can't help make a change and make betterment in this country, and you really don't like this country, you hate it, well, that's not healthy for a person to stay somewhere where they don't want, you know? So it's all free will. But there's a lot going on. It's powerful. It's intense. We got missiles coming, going up. And, the closest thing we've seen in modern history right now is that 9/11. But I don't know, what would happen if other countries start shooting missiles at us. But that's Pluto, So that is, okay, so if Pluto goes through a fire sign, then it would be more dramatic, more sudden, and very rarely foreseen. If it's an earth sign, it's coming. You see it coming. It's like you see the forecast of a hurricane and you have to get out. It's a category 5. You have to go. That kind of a thing. If it's an air sign, if it's in an air sign, it's a lightness to it, but it does have a death and a birth to it. And if it's a water sign, it's emotionally upsetting, very emotionally upsetting. So, and then one more page, yeah. So it's, I think we covered that. Metamorphosis, we covered that. So it takes about 243 or 43 years to go around the whole horoscope. So we won't ever live to see a Pluto return. So it's a great revealer too. It shows us what is most important to us, and it shows us in a very powerful way. I hope you enjoyed this video. We got it done in 17 minutes. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you like what you hear. Go ahead and share it. I have my Instagram and Facebook page, Holistic Healing Astrology. You could go online and check out the website too. If you want a reading, 757-513-7771. It's great to check in 4 times a year. It's fantastic. See what the invisible world has, what messages they have for you. Take care.